Now that we're a little ways into 2021, I thought it would be fun to make a video to share some of the habits I'll be working on personally for this year. Now, you can call them habits, goals, New Year's resolutions, whatever floats your boat. These are some of the things that I am hoping to improve this year. They are specific to me and my situation, but hopefully can extrapolate a few good nuggets of information or inspiration for you as we all go through this year. Before we get into the video though, I want to thank today's sponsor, and that is Laird Superfood. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. We'll be talking a little bit more about them later, but huge thanks to them. And without any further ado, let's get into my habits for 2021. My wife and I both run our own business and are both solo operators, so that can lead to some complicated and difficult financial situations, both in a business sense and in a personal sense. Something I've been working on this year and hope to continue to improve is just keeping better track of our overall finances. It's that old adage, knowledge is power. You can't really improve or fix upon what you don't know. So keeping better track of everything is going to allow me to spot trends and see potential points where we could be saving money or making more money, or just areas that we should or could improve. It can definitely be difficult with both of us running our own business because our income can fluctuate so much. So keeping better track and control of everything is just going to allow for a little bit more financial stability and security. I personally use Google Docs or Google Drive, whatever it's called these days, to keep track of everything. If anyone has any recommendations for really good financial tracking that you'd recommend, be sure to let me know down in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it. But this is something I'm really looking forward to. I enjoy working with numbers in that sense, but it's just something, when you let it slide for a month, you let it slide for a few months, and then, as things get tough, last year, there's no doubt that we lost a ton of money through coronavirus, and, my wife got her business shut down for a good portion of the year. So we're kind of starting this year fresh and keeping better track and looking to improve our overall financial situation. Walking has played a really significant and important role in my life over the years, and over the past year or so, I've really let that fall by the wayside. Obviously, the physical health benefits of walking are great, but even more so for me, I find, regular walking to be really contemplative and meditative, and really just helps me work out a lot of the issues and things I'm thinking about in my brain. I'm not someone that really likes to meditate in a traditional sense, but I find meditation in different tasks throughout the day, and walking has always been my favorite thing to do to accomplish that meditative state. Because so much stuff has been shut down in the city and I haven't had a lot of opportunity to get out in nature over the past year, it's something that's really kind of fallen away from me, and I've lost the habit and routine of walking. It's something that's really simple, but has been really significant to me. And so far, I've been doing a pretty good job of keeping in that regular activity and walking, and something I hope to really improve upon and continue to incorporate into my quote unquote new life. Back before I started working from home full time, I always had a lot of that walking time getting to and from work every day. And since then, it's just been on a slow decline, and that's something I've really recognized over the past few months, and I've recognized the negative effects of it the past few months. And lately, I've been trying to correct that, and it's been going pretty well so far, and it's something I am going to continue to incorporate and improve upon in my life. I feel like being stuck inside my apartment for the past year has really taken a big toll on my creative inspiration. This is something I'm really hoping to correct this year and start to improve upon and build upon, and find new ways and methods to kind of fill up that creative bucket in my mind. I don't really talk about music much on the channel here, but music has always been a really significant part of my life from a really young age. I've been playing instruments since I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I was in band throughout school. I was in rock bands and got to tour the country and play all around Michigan back when I used to live there. I played music for a significant portion of my life, and pretty much since I moved out to Portland, it's been slowly withering away from my regular routine and tasks and hobbies and all of that sort of stuff. So something I've really recognized in the past couple of weeks and want to start to course correct on is incorporating music more into my life, both listening and playing. That's something that really inspires me to create, even in video form or writing or playing more music itself. It's something that really fills up that creativity for me, and something I'm really planning to incorporate more and more this year. It kind of ties into the walking. That was another part of the walking benefits when I used to walk to and from work every day. I got to listen to music for 40-50 minutes a day when I was walking around the city, and those meditative walks listening to music really did a lot for my mental health, and it's something that I am severely missing today. On top of that, I don't have a lot of the instruments I used to have, but I do still have a guitar and a banjo. So I'm trying to make more of a conscious effort to pick up the guitar and play it a little bit more frequently. I've been looking into possibly getting into electronic music. It's something that I really enjoy, and it feels a bit like a big void inside of me when I go these extended periods without really playing music. So it's a big goal for me this year to help fill that creative inspiration. The other biggest avenue for me, aside from music, is just spending time in nature. I do have some access to hiking trails in the city here in Portland, but most of my camping and backpacking adventures for last year got derailed with coronavirus stuff. I don't have a car, so I'm pretty limited to the places I can camp and backpack because I have to get there with public transit of some sort, and with everything going on, I just wasn't comfortable getting on public transit, and a lot of the campgrounds and areas were closed off, so it's something I plan to incorporate more this year again. You all saw my backpacking setup I did last year. I'm already aiming and planning for a trip for March after I finish up a client project this month, so getting out in nature, playing more music, just doing everything I know how to do that's going to fill that creative inspiration for me. Big goal for me throughout last year and continuing into this year is just taking better control of my time. This goes for both a business and work sense, but also a recharging my mental health and recreational sense. It's something that I've struggled with since I went full-time from home. I'm sure a ton of people that started working from home full-time last year can definitely relate and empathize with this, but you run into a lot of issues when you live and work in the same place, and especially when you run your own business, things, a lot of the lines get blurred, and you lose sight of having dedicated time to work and dedicated time to have fun and recharge, and those lines get blurry, and what ends up happening is you're less productive in both a work sense and in a fun and recreational sense. I think a lot of people can understand this. Moving forward, I plan to be as intentional as possible, setting myself up with better boundaries and giving myself permission to relax and recharge without any guilt of not getting the work done, and also, getting that work done and knowing that I have that free time and that relaxation ahead of me once it's finished. I've been on both extremes of the situation and didn't really find a lot of success in either way. I was a part of that, hustle and grind culture for a long time. I feel like it really drove and plummeted my mental health down. And so I did kind of overcorrect for a time where I was just really trying to relax as much as possible and let that creative inspiration and work ethic come to me when the time was right. It turns out, even on the flip side of that, as much as I don't like the hustle culture, the flip side of that is also equally bad and unproductive. Those lines can get blurred between work and home, and it just ends up kind of making everything a little bit worse. We all need a reminder from time to time to let go of the things that you're not able to control. You can't always control the situations that you find yourself in, but you can always control how you react and feel in those situations. I think the past year has been the best example of this for everyone. It's been a wild year with a ton of stuff happening, and it's definitely not even special for 2020 or coronavirus or anything specific. there's always big things happening in the world, in our personal lives that we don't have control over. And it's important to make sure that we take control of our emotions and our feelings and how we act and react in these situations, because that's kind of living. Life is what happens when you're busy making plans or whatever. All the classic cliches kind of fit in here. But once you really can grasp those ideas and remember and fall back on them in difficult times, I think it can be a really good thing to incorporate and have in your brain and in your life. It is not something that passively happens for me. It's something that I am consistently having to remind myself of. So I put this in here, even though it's not something that's new to me. It's not something that I feel like I am that poor at, but it is important for me to remember. Before we wrap up, I want to take a minute to talk about today's sponsor, and that is Laird Superfood. Laird Superfood was founded by big wave surfer Laird Hamilton. The past couple of months since they reached out, I've been trying their functional coffee. It's a medium roast coffee, but within the coffee they include mushroom extracts and olive leaf powder. It has 15% of your daily dose of vitamin D as well. When they originally reached out, I was super fascinated. I've heard about mushroom coffee from so many people over the years. Since I first got it, it's replaced my afternoon coffee. I brew it in the AeroPress every day, and coming from someone who really does not like regular mushrooms, it just tastes like regular coffee. It's definitely a little bit of a different feeling from just the normal straight caffeine buzz that you'd get from regular coffee. I'm a big time tea drinker and a big time coffee drinker, so it's kind of a nice blend of the focus that you get from tea as well, mixed with the good buzz from coffee and caffeine. They have a ton of other really great stuff on their website as well. Coffee creamers, if you're into that sort of thing. They also just sell the mushroom extracts by itself if you wanted to just try the benefits of the mushrooms without the extra coffee. If you're not someone that enjoys coffee, huge thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check out the link in the description and in the comments to learn more about it. That's gonna wrap things up for me though. These are some of the things I have been working on and have been mindful of through this year. I wanted to delay it a little bit so it's not just New Year's resolutions. Now is the time where people start to kind of fall into their old bad habits. So take back those good habits that you had planned a few weeks ago and keep going with them. I would love to hear what you have down below, what things you're working on for this year, hoping to improve, something that you had successful from last year. I'd love to hear about that. If you have any tips for me, these were all personal to my experience. So if you have any advice for me, I'd greatly appreciate it as well. Thank you all so much for watching though, and I'll talk to you in the next one.